Mama.
Yes, Ryan, what do you want?
I got a few friends coming over. We probably gonna play cards in the dining room, so I was wondering, if I could use the table.
I don't care, Ryan. Just put my stuff back the way you found it.
Yo, welcome to the second episode of At My Mama's Table, the podcast. Today I'm sitting here with, the big bro, Jay. Say what's up to the people.
What's up?
I'm here with his wonderful wife and my sister, Kiara, also known as Kiko. Say what's up to the people.
Ow.
And I'm here with my boy from way back. You know what I'm saying? A1 Day 1 shit. Gotti Guapo in the building.
Yo.
So, if you ain't heard the first episode, you know what I'm saying? Go ahead, go back. Check that one out. It's on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play Music. We on Stitcher now, so you know what I'm saying? Fuck with us on that. What else? Oh, follow the Instagram, you know what I'm saying? At @real_AMMT. You can use that same @ on Facebook. You already know. So, you know what I'm saying? Go ahead, get them socials out the way before you get this, get in tune with this. But, so now, the lecture at hand. So, the topic of discussion today is we gonna be tackling, let's say, we gonna put it as toxic masculinity. So, like, I be seeing on social media, like, all this, what a real man is supposed to be and what a real man does and in certain situations, and you're not a real man if you don't do this, that, and the third. So, I was just sitting back thinking one day, you know what I'm saying, like, I can't wait to, you know what I'm saying, sit down with my son around, you know what I'm saying, early teens, you know what I'm saying, preteen years, and had a conversation with him, like, and really break it down to him as far as what a real man actually is. Because me personally, I don't feel like I was taught that. I feel like going through certain experiences in my life just kind of taught me that, and certain values that I was raised on is what I stand on as a man. But I just don't feel like it was actually defined to me. And like, I feel like a lot of motherfuckers out here right now, like, they a little lost in it. You know what I'm saying? And it's not their fault, you know what I'm saying? And it's really not the people who raised them fault. It's just like a social society thing. So I wanted to, you know what I'm saying, sit here and have a conversation with two guys that I really know, you know what I'm saying, that have sons of their own, since I don't have any. I don't have any children at this point in time. So I just wanted to sit down and, you know what I'm saying, have a conversation with these two gentlemen and, Kiara, to get her female perspective. We don't want no biases at my mama table, so we want to see things from her perspective as well. So, yeah, I just wanted to holler at them and see, like, certain things that they may have not been taught that they learned later on in life, or things that they have been taught that they want to pass on to their son. So, with that being said, I want to swing it to, the big bro Jay, since we grew up in the same household and, you know what I'm saying, we were pretty much raised by the same set of people. So, my thing that I want to ask you is you have a 10-year-old son right now. And in the world, it's just a lot of back and forth about what a real man is supposed to do and all this, that, and the other. I just want to know, like, what is it that you learned in your life that wasn't necessarily taught to you, but you learned it and that you want to pass on to your son and for him to understand?
Well, I want to start by just saying that, kind of growing up in our household, there were male role models around. There were male influences around. But we were primarily with our mom. So, she kind of just taught us what she knew best to teach us. And, having that in your home and in your environment, you kind of just pick up what you have in the house, And that being our mom, we kind of picked up some of her mannerisms, her behaviors. later on, we had grandma, again, picking up her mannerisms and behaviors. Then, my grandmother got married. We had our granddad, and that's kind of where we picked up more of like a how-to for men. Really, I think the huge thing is the showing emotion. Society and the world around us and stuff like that, they just frown upon men showing emotion, being bothered, handling, certain situations that are like real life situations, stresses, dramas, like that. Relationships, how to handle, having feelings in a relationship, how to handle when things upset you, when things stress you out in a relationship. Then later on, being a father, learning how to kind of embrace your son, showing enough affection, not showing too much affection, making sure that, he knows that he's loved, and making sure that, he's also taught kind of the things that a man needs to be taught. I gotta say, like, just in beginning, it was hard, not having or understanding, like, as from a man's perspective, what was too much and what was too little. It was kind of hard, kind of, showing this little person that, may love you just unconditionally, what love and, kind of what being a man is like. Me and my son, we have conversations every day. I make sure to tell him how I feel about him, what I think of him, what my expectations are of him, to kind of divert from what I struggle with, which I may not have gotten all of those things from not having a man that understood what it specifically was like to be a man, and then what it was like to be a black man. And that's a whole nother layer to the situation, being a black man in America, struggling with certain things, like what happens the first time you get pulled over? What happens the first time you get a stop and frisk? What happens the first time, you get a gun pulled on you by the police officers? How do you handle that emotionally? How do you come home and handle when stuff bothers you? How do you come home and treat everybody around you? How do you treat outside of the people that may have upset you or disrespected you in everyday, life? How to separate that stuff. You don't really get taught that, because what your mom is doing, especially when she's kind of raising you by yourself, she's just trying to make sure you survive. She's trying to make sure you eat, and she's just doing what she can do. She don't know what you go through on an everyday basis. Just like, for a certain degree, men don't understand what women go through. We have completely different mindsets, behaviors, and thought process. And so, I think, just to answer your question, the hardest thing was kind of handling emotional things, handling what bothers you and just, what hurts you and stuff like that, handling those emotional things. Then you get told by today's society that, certain emotion is too much emotion. Some people have a problem with fathers kissing their children. There's an age requirement for fathers kissing their children. There's how much affection is too much. That's just with your male son. We don't, want to even get into like the degree of issue with, what you are supposed to do and aren't supposed to do with daughters. I know some male and some cultures don't even change female daughters' diapers because, like, that's just not socially acceptable. Right. So, I think just, like, again, handling the emotional and handling what bothers him and how, just him being able to find ways to unwind, right. Especially with, your nephew is not really a sports type of person. I have a rough day, I have a rough week, I go play sports. I let my aggression out on the court. Something positive. He doesn't play sports, So finding ways to unwind. Kids have problems too, and sometimes he just needs to blow some steam off too, and just finding ways to show him how to handle his emotion. That it's okay to talk about it, it's okay to be upset about it, but handle it with a certain restriction or limit. And I think, that's an ongoing battle that I struggle with every day. Me and him have to sometimes have hour-long talks about what's going to be okay, what's going to be acceptable, what, is going to be expected of him. And me being the type of parent I am, I'm always honest with him. Look, this is what I went through. This is, what I feel you're gonna go through. And then the other dynamic again, being a black man, this is what's gonna happen to you. This is what you're gonna go through, and make sure that your expectations and your thought process and stuff like that are in the right place. Make sure that you can handle it.
My fault. Go ahead.
Make sure you can handle and appreciate the situations as a young man.
Yeah, I feel that. I'm gonna kick it to the other side. John, you got a younger son, and I want to know what it is like. You kind of got some time before you really got to have that full-blown conversation. So, like, you got time to prep for it. So, like, I just want to know, like, your thought process on that. Like, what is it that you looking forward to talking to your son about?
Right, because, like, my son, the difference between me and Justin, his son 10, my son 1, he just finna be 2 in January. And anybody who know me, when I first had kids, I was happy to have a daughter. And when I found out I was finna have my second child, I didn't want a son. God knows I didn't want a son, because I always said to my pops, I don't know how he raised me, because the way I was brought up in a household. My mother wasn't around, but I had a grandma and a grandpa who was like a mother and a father. So I always had that mother and father role. Like, I can't say that what make a man is another man, you feel me? Because I feel like you need both a woman and a man to make a man, you feel me? So the conversation that I want to have with my son is a conversation I want to have with me, my son, and his mother. You feel me? So he can know exactly what it is. Because I could teach him, like I said, my father raised me. My grandpa was right there with me. I learned all that masculinity shit, all that emotion shit, all that shit, or whatever it is to be a man. But that patience I didn't learn. Communication with the female I didn't learn. I guess like shit that you probably get from your mother. I didn't get that. And you feel me? That play a part in like relationships. Like why me and my baby mamas don't get along. Relationships that I be in, they don't last long because I don't know their communication. You feel me? When I was raised up by my pops and shit like that, he ain't teach me that shit. He just pretty showed me how to like, excuse my language, but fuck these hoes and keep it pushing, really. You feel me? He really ain't never installed in my head like a family and this and that. He told me, if you do have a family, you provide by all means, you get the shit done, but you ain't gotta be there. Just if you ain't feeling it, you ain't gotta be there. So, you feel me? The stuff that I tell my son, I raise him probably how I wasn't raised, so he could see how it really is type shit. So the conversation I have with my son is the conversation that my pops had with me, I would not have with my son.
Right.
So the way that I was brought up, I don't want my son to be brought up like me, because I was brought up right. You feel me? It was a meal on the table every day, all type of shit. I ain't have to struggle. I wasn't in the gang life. I still found my way to the guns. Wasn't brought up, drugs wasn't never around me, but I still found my way to there. So for me to be that type of dude that ain't around that shit, and I still found my way to that shit, I feel like I never wanted a son, because that's how I ended up. It's like, you gonna keep them away from all that shit, and they still gonna find their way to it. And then the era when we grew up is way different from the era that's going on now. Like, little kids getting murked.
Yeah.
Like, shorties murking shorties, and like, over some little shit, over crayons, damn near.
Right.
So it's like
over crayons.
It's like you gonna try to teach your son what's right, but for example, in a fight, when we was growing up, you tell your son somebody hit you, you punch him back. Right. Now you tell your son, hey, somebody hit you, you punch him back, but now you gotta think in your head, what if that motherfucker shoot you now? You punch him, everybody ain't fighting these days, so now you gotta do that. Like you said earlier, Justin, with the police. How to react when the police pull you over. Back then, police pull us over, what are you pulling me over for? We could question them, get to the bottom of it. Now you can't do that. So it's like hard. You can't really explain to your child how to go about life now, because shit different. Shit all the way different. All the way. A whole nother ball game. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I ain't gonna lie, folks. I don't know how I'm gonna raise my son. I don't. It's a conversation I'm gonna have to have with him on another day. I just let life play its role.
You got time. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel what you're saying. Like, I feel like a lot of that shit growing up in Chicago, like how you say, you just kind of like found your way into it. You know what I'm saying? Like even though it wasn't around you, it might have been something that fascinated you, or you just had some free time and like you just happened to be around motherfuckers that was doing the shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I don't know follower shit, but it was just some shit that you kind of happened to just stumble into. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, motherfuckers really doing this shit. Like, woo woo. You know what I'm saying? And you might have seen like the certain, like the way how they are with the shit. You know what I'm saying? And maybe that's what attracted you to it. But it's just like that. It is crazy. Like, hopefully, I don't want to raise my son in Chicago. Yeah. To hit on that, like if I have a son, I do not want to raise my son in Chicago. Like, period. Considering the fact that like growing up in like the heart of motherfucking Inglewood, like pops and cousins and all this shit, like these motherfuckers like really real life in that gang shit, and like learning shit from them is kind of like, it kind of fucks with your mental, because it's like they don't teach you all the, you know what I'm saying, like that you got emotions and shit. You know what I'm saying? Because the life that they live in, they can't have emotions. They can't show that shit. You know what I'm saying? That's a sign of weakness in the career path, quote unquote career path that they chose. You know what I'm saying? So like growing up, and I feel like that's why me personally, I wouldn't say I didn't get it, but it wasn't explained to me. Like, as far as like how a motherfucker be like, I'm pretty sure all of us, you know what I'm saying, we'd have been at a point where it was like, motherfucker told you like, you need to man up. You know what I'm saying? You crying, you salty about some shit. Motherfucker like, you need to man up. Like, they didn't explain that shit good enough. You know what I'm saying? Like, you tell a motherfucker to man up. Are you saying
like every situation at that point you gonna feel like I can't express it?
I can't express this shit. You know what I'm saying? Right? Like it's one of those things. Like, so are you saying that I need to get a hold of my emotions, or are you saying stop acting like that? You know what I'm saying? Stop showing those emotions because that's not manly. Mm-hmm. And as a kid, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't really understand that shit. Like, that shit don't register that way. You know what I'm saying? Like, you take the simpler answer. The simpler answer to the shit is like, don't do that no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you learn this shit as a kid, don't touch you know what I'm saying? That shit hot. And you go touch it anyway. I told your ass not to touch it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
fuck with the stove.
It's simple, like, deductive reasoning as a kid. You know what I'm saying? You do something bad happened. Don't do that shit no more. So a motherfucker telling you, like, you showing emotion and your feelings hurt. You know what I'm saying? Like, motherfuckers don't use that word. Niggas don't use that word. They feelings hurt. You know what I'm saying? Like, your feelings hurt about some shit and you salty, you want to cry about it, or you pouting, or you moping around, and motherfucker like, man, what are you crying about that bullshit for, man? Man, the fuck up. This, that, and the other. You know what I'm saying? This, that, and the other. So then, like, as you grow up, like, you just apply that shit to every fucking thing.
Yeah, anything that happen, niggas, we just
man up. I gotta man up. Like,
one of the
I can't
worst things a person could say to you is you in your feelings.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers say, oh, why you in your feelings? Any female has ever said that to a nigga, no, that's an instant trigger. Talking about some, damn, why you in your feelings?
It definitely do be some bitch ass niggas though in their feelings.
Yeah, no, but this is my thing though.
Bitch ass niggas.
And this is the thing. This is what I want to tell my son, right?
Don't be one of those bitch ass niggas.
Don't be a bitch ass nigga. You know what I'm saying? Just because I'm saying that you have emotions, don't mean that you just gotta be whining and doing all this shit all the time and doing all that. No, that's not what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just telling you, get a hold of your emotions. They are there. You know what I'm saying? When your feelings are hurt, it's okay to say, damn, that kind of hurt my feelings. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to sit there and be, like, you don't have to repress the shit. Don't repress it. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't act as if that they are non-existent. Because a lot of females, like, they wonder why, like, oh, well, you know what I'm saying? You lack affection and you don't show these type of emotions and you this
That's
type
me. That's me. That's me to the max.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, you
anybody listening, that's why my relationships don't last. Because
we sorry.
I lack all type of affection, all type of emotions. I'm the most nonchalant nigga that you would probably come across. And scratch my face, spit in my you spit in my face, I damn near slap the shit out of you. But it's I don't know. It's certain shit you care about, certain shit you don't care about.
Right. And like, to hit on that nonchalant thing, like, I feel like a lot of motherfuckers, they take it that route. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's all right. So I feel like being nonchalant about certain shit, the indifference in a lot of shit is like walking the fine line. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not giving you the reaction that you're looking for. And I'm also not, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to get mad, but I'm not going to let it hurt my feelings, quote unquote. Even though the shit hurt your feelings, but what I'm going to show you is I'm walking a fine line. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's why a lot of motherfuckers is nonchalant and they try to let a lot of shit just like roll off their back and all that shit. Because it's like, I don't know how to deal with this emotion. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to give you a motherfucking reaction. And I'm just going to be indifferent about it. Like, I'm just going to be like, whatever, it's whatever. And I feel like a lot of that shit, like, I don't know, in that moment of speaking on that, like, I thought about, like, females be wondering, like, why niggas move on so fast? Like, why is it that niggas, you know what I'm saying, like, they can just move on so fast? It's because, and it's not an excuse, you know what I'm saying, like, what's wrong is wrong, you know what I'm saying? This entire podcast is basically to let you know, like, we a little fucked up too. You know what I'm saying? Like, we not saying the shit that we do is right, and we ain't making excuses for it. But in the instance why niggas move on so fast after a relationship is because we don't know how to deal with the emotion. We don't know how to deal with like, we had love and then the loss of love. We don't know how to deal with that shit. So what we do is we go find something, a temporary feeling to replace that. Like, even if and that's why, like, a lot of niggas be like, that bitch didn't mean nothing to me. And that's facts. Like, she didn't mean.
Factual.
Like, you know what I'm saying? It's factly as hell. Like, it didn't mean anything because all I was trying to do was distract myself from thinking about our situation or what was going on here. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right, when you could have just had simple communication, let her know how you was feeling instead of trying to fill that void.
Exactly.
With that little bitch. Cause I don't know, cause it kind of touch base, cause that's how I be doing. You feel me? When I'm into it with my baby mama, I gotta feel that void. Shit. And it's not supposed to be like that. You ain't supposed to do that, cause in the midst of you doing that, you messing with somebody else. You playing with somebody else's heart.
Right. You fucking with other motherfuckers' emotions. But you feel me?
That go back to how I was brought up. I wasn't brought up. You feel me? To take that, to think that side, like, oh, well, let me think about this girl emotions. Let me think about her feelings. You feel me? The way my pops and them brought me up, which I'm changing now. I'm trying to change. But the way I was brought up, you feel me? I was brought up to just, man, slam and replace them. Shit. Keep it accordingly. You don't really have feeling for these hoes when you moving.
Yeah, I mean, that's the easy way out of it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like, instead of dealing with it.
And you could just tell that mentality is not, I don't want my son to have the mentality that I have. I definitely want to train. I want to teach him different. I want him to have emotions. I want my son to be able to go to a wedding and cry and not feel no type of way.
Yeah. Because niggas do not, like, what's that song Uncle David used to listen to? It was about the Ghetto Boys. I never seen a man cry till I seen a man die. That's facts. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy. Like, niggas be hella embarrassed to shed a tear. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you proud or some shit like that, motherfucker be trying to hide their face. Motherfuckers making crazy ass faces trying to hold back a tear. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's crazy because the thing is like, this gonna sound crazy to a lot of motherfuckers, but like, if you really know what's real, this is facts. Men have exactly the same number of emotions as women. Because at the end of the day, what it boils down to is we all human. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all born with a brain. Our brain, you can't tell the difference between the female brain and the male brain. Female brain ain't pink and the male brain ain't fucking, well, it is pink, but it ain't pink.
I know what you mean. Pink and blue.
Pink and blue. It ain't pink and blue. Everybody shit just pink. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever fucking color it is. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know what the fuck I'm talking about.
AMMT in the building.
Right, AMMT. Right. I had to think about that shit. Like, it actually is a little pink, but whatever. That's beside the point. It ain't a fucking gender divide between brains. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all think the same shit now. Once we're all born, like, our mindsets and brain is set the same way, and it's being rewired on its own accord through life experiences and shit that you're taught. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, that's what it's all about. Is what you're taught. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like kind of like how me and John are sitting here talking, and we got like different perspectives.
mm-hmm.
And how he was kind of talking about his pops, and I was talking about moms, and it's really that's it. It's the hard wiring. It's dividing homes and households again, especially like you talk about black communities, and I don't mean to like just make it all about race, but just specifically to us, you talk about black communities, and you talk about like my pops wasn't there, your pops was around, my pops wasn't there, John's pops was there. We had mom more than anything. And it just, you can kind of tell me and you might have addressed relationships kind of differently than he does. You know what I mean? And that's specifically that hard wiring, like, again, as a baby, you got a clean blank slate, and then you come into the situation and like my relationships, I handle them a certain way. I feel like you handle your relationships pretty similar, but then like we know how to tell a motherfucker when we mad. You know what I'm saying? We do as men, again, just as a general kind of consensus to the whole male race, as men, most of us, we had our emotions to a certain degree. But we do know how to snap. We do know how to, me and you
we had them motherfuckers until it hit a boiling point. The fucking volcano just erupts.
And that's the thing. And then you hear, I can't really remember, like, John ever being pissed off. I can't remember, bro, like, ever just being like, nigga, I'm mad. Like, not to that degree. You know what I'm saying? Like,
can you?
Yeah, I know.
Like,
your ass called my phone with that shit.
I want to say, like, on an emotional level, I've never seen him mad enough to where he wanted to cry. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah.
And so, like, I think, like, me and my wife, we had a conversation about a week or two ago. And I was kind of, I make observations. And I was like, women are, when they're upset, when they're happy, they cry. I was like, that's the hardest shit for us to do.
Yeah.
Like, for you to get me to cry, you're going to have to put a bullet in me or something. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because anything short of that, ain't not one tear coming out my eye. And I might not cry because of the bullet either, because I don't want nobody to see me do that either.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, men only cry, really, like, it's very few occasions. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know for a fact that, maybe when your first child or any child is born, you know what I'm saying? That might bring a tear to your eye. Losing a friend or a family member or some shit. Like,
I wanted to cry when my son was born. It's just, again,
didn't
that stigma was like, you got all these people in this room, don't bitch up.
Right, and that's my thing. Like, you was 21 years old when Jaden was born. You know what I'm saying? So it was one of them things. Like, I've been this way for 20 years, and I've been perfecting this way of being, this emotional, like, repressing this emotion for 20 years. You know what I'm saying? This is what I've been taught. The people that I looked up to, the men I've looked up to, and sometimes even women. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the times, women also perpetuate that shit onto their sons. You know what I'm saying? So, like, everybody I looked up to, everybody that I really come in contact with, have told me to be this specific way. This is the specific way that I'm supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? And then, like, even though, like, you may have that feeling of, damn, I really want to, you know what I'm saying? I want to cry. I want to show this emotion. I want to show my happiness. I want to show this sadness or release this, you know what I'm saying, sadness. You still can't, because it's like you working against some shit. Like, you were created to be a robot. You working against your program.
Hard wiring. Yeah.
Yeah, you working against your program, and the shit is hard. You know what I'm saying? Like, even still, your motherfucking eyes may water up a little bit, but if you notice, none of them tears will fall. Like, it's gonna take a lot for them motherfuckers to fall. You know what I'm saying? That shit be crazy.
Yeah, that's what I and again, it's like it's almost, and you can go back to like splits in households, and that's why, like, I'm a strong advocate. Although how I was raised and how everybody around me was raised and brought up with, like, usually a single parent home, like, I think it's huge. You get something from your mother and you get something from your father. And the people I know that have like a strong mother and father presence in their house, those are the most balanced people I know. Now, there's always like an exception to the rule. Some people just they rise above all of the bullshit, and they find something better in the situation. But like with that hard wiring and that brainwashing, you know, it's always like, you know, I'm this way. And I literally think like every child, whether it be male or female, needs a mother and a father. Yeah. You know, I think that's why, even with my situation, not to judge people, but with me and my son's mom living in separate households and stuff like that, I just hate the concept of parents living in separate households. It's not fair to the children. It's not fair to the programming, the development, the growth, you know, the social emotional skills. Like, it's not good for that. I think the best thing that ever happened is when I got married, I was able to bring another female into a household. So at a certain point, my son, he gets both, you know. Right. He gets that male that only has that certain perspective, but he gets this woman that gets to teach him skills, you know. She gets to teach him stuff that, little details that men don't even pay attention to or, like, honestly give a fuck about. Right. You know, me and her, when we look at something, we looking at completely different details. You know, you look at a picture, she looking at one thing, I'm looking at another. She looking at eyes, I'm looking at shoulders or something like that, you know. And like the picture that we paint and the perspectives that we can teach him is what makes him a complete person, you know. And especially like with males, I feel like with males, it's like it's a hardwired science, you know. With us having the X and the Y, I feel like that specifically with that, like, you know, we need both of those concepts. We need to be able to know how to treat a woman.
Yeah, I mean, because you're made up of both.
And that's what I feel like. It's literally in your DNA. Whereas, like, most of us males are getting in relationships and we have to learn while we're in a relationship. That's a huge problem, too, because while your woman teaching you how to treat a woman, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like certain respect and certain stuff gets thrown out the window. You know what I'm saying? That's just, it's a huge part and issue of like households and, you know, broken households, and just like, to me, that's the huge difference in America in general too. We talk about like different eras and stuff like that, and I believe this era is like the single parent era or the separate household era.
Yeah,
and
it really is though.
As a child, you to go into one house, and one parent key emphasis is on a certain thing, then you go to another parent house and you got to do what you do at your dad's house different. Like, you can't do what mom say. You at dad's house. Yeah. So now dad's key emphasis is maybe, you know, make sure you do this and do that, but you ain't got to clean up your room.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so then you go back to mom's house, and now you don't pay attention to the little details. You don't clean up. You don't take care of small details. You don't take care of your physical and, you know, your mental health and stuff like that because it's not there. And it's like, fuck. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so like basically it's no solidarity.
No solidarity. And that's what you need. You need to be able to literally get something from both. You need to be able to get that feminine and you need to be able to get that masculine. You can't just get one, you know.
Right, one edge of the sword, yeah.
Yeah, and that's it. We have programmed in one direction or the other as not the whole human race, but I want to say a large percentage of people are like that. That's when you find, you know, crime, and you find like more crime because you just got, you know, people are who they are, you know. As a parent, you can teach your child whatever you can teach them, and that's all you can do. You know, even going back to John's comment about he don't know what he gonna do with his son, all you can do is teach him what you gonna teach him, and you and his mom could be together. Y'all could teach him to be a certain person. Y'all could raise him in a perfect household. You know what I'm saying? And he can do whatever the fuck he want to do when he leave your household.
Yeah. Who you talking about? Me?
Yeah,
me like my baby mama.
Well, your son, your baby mama. Saying like y'all could be together.
If
y'all could raise him, and you know what I'm saying. Y'all can give him all the things he need, and he can still be whoever the fuck he want to be. You can't make him be nothing different than who he want to be. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So he'll be who he want to be at the end of the day.
Yeah, the household helps, but like it only plays a certain part in it, and then he is who he is. You know what I'm saying? He the person he want to be. So, again, just with the masculinity role, yeah, I do think the household plays a certain part, and you know what I'm saying. I think that it changes. Any slight moment in time can change who you are, what you do as a person.
Yeah, of course. So it's all about life. Is all about experiences and shit. But I just feel as if like as a dad, you know what I'm saying, to your son, like typically you're your son's first role model. Mm-hmm. You're the first person that they want to be like, the first person that they look up to. You know what I'm saying? And so it's just, I feel like it should be a actual definition of what a man really is. You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand what you were saying, Jay. Like, at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, you can teach him to be the perfect man. But at the end of the day, through his life experiences and the shit that he goes through and the route that he takes in life, he's still gonna be who the fuck he gonna be. You know what I'm saying? But I just feel like a lot of the shit was not defined for us. You know what I'm saying? Like, in our generation, motherfuckers just say man up. And you was just supposed to take that shit and make it what the fuck you was gonna make it as. You know what I'm saying? Like, you was just supposed to, you dropped your, motherfucker just dropped your ice cream on the ground, salty than a bitch. You know what I'm saying? You salty as fuck. You want to cry like a motherfucker. You crying and you trying to explain to your daddy. And he like, boy, what the fuck? Man up. Look, we can get some more goddamn ice cream in the damn, you know what I'm saying? Goddamn freezer. You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand that. You do want to stop him, but when you tell him man up, like, look, get control of your emotions. Like, you don't let your emotions run wild. You know what I'm saying?
That sounds just like your pops, actually.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it pretty much. Like that's pretty much how it was. You know what I'm saying? Like, with my dad, like, a lot of the shit, like, to be honest, my dad never was really an affectionate person with me.
But that goes back to
or my little brother, but that also goes back into his father. You know what I'm saying? Like, and his father before him. So, like, he wasn't showing affection. So the role models that he, you know what I'm saying, that he had showed him those things like, oh, well, this is what it is. And he took that model and just ran with it. You know what I'm saying? And even though, like, I don't never remember, like, my dad ever being like, I love you. I can't honestly, like, legit think, like, if he's ever said it. I know he does. Don't get me wrong. You know what I'm saying? I know my pops, he do love me. But I don't ever remember he was like, you know, son, I love you. You know what I'm saying? I don't remember my daddy ever saying no shit like that. And it's not like...
See, and that's crazy because my pops done said that to me before. And it sound funny when he said it. It's bro. Like, bro, what you gay for? Stop being gay. Like, I don't want to hear that. Like, but yeah, I get exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, like...
chill with all that thing.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right,
but that's the thing,
I never forget when I was in, like, I want to say like 4th grade. I was in like 4th grade. I got into it with somebody. I got into it with a dude, and he told me, he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go get my brother. He gonna kill you, this and that." Keep in mind, I went to school over east with nothing but moles.
With the moles,
I was probably one of the shorty. Me and another dude was probably the only shorty GDs in there. So when dude told me he finna go get such and such to come kill me, you feel me? I feared for my life. I went to my pops. You feel me? I was so scared. The night before, I gave him a kiss on the cheek. And you feel me? I was scared, you know? And he looked at me once I gave him a kiss on the cheek like, boy, what the fuck is you doing?
Right, what the fuck
you too old to be giving me this kiss on the cheek.
But,
right, that's exactly how he gave me that look. He like, boy, what is you doing? And just the strength of me giving him that kiss on the cheek and he knowing I'm too old to give him a kiss on the cheek. He knew something was wrong. Like, boy, like something not right.
So you need a ride to school tomorrow.
Right.
Definitely need a ride.
But that was just funny because in that sense of something like a kiss on the cheek is actually a message for him to know. Like, hey, I need help right now.
Right, I need some help.
But the whole time it shouldn't be like that.
It shouldn't
like,
be right. It should be a thing.
It
should be a normal thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you gonna do that with your pops, like, all right, you're not gonna be 15, 16 years old giving your pops a kiss on the cheek. You know what I'm saying?
You'd be surprised. I just seen a video Diddy gave his son a kiss on the mouth, and his son's grown as hell.
No, I'm not doing that. I'm not on the mouth. But my thing is like, all right, I can see if I got like a 13-year-old son, 14-year-old son, and you know what I'm saying? It's a proud moment, and I get caught up in the moment. I can get top of the head, forehead. Mm-hmm. That's it. You know what I'm saying? Maybe, if on the drunk graduation night, kiss on the cheek.
But that mouth shit, that's over.
That mouth shit over with. You know what I'm saying? Like that ain't. That's just like
you know what? Different nationalities.
Different nationalities. Yeah, they do that shit differently.
You know, like my friends. My boy, he's like 24. My boy, he's 24, and his pops, they do. You know, whenever he just had a situation where he moved out his parents' home, and you know that's what him and his pops do. You know, so it's different nationalities, it's different upbringing, stuff like that. It's how you look at things and stigma on things. You know, like your child is of you, and really, you know, I do agree there are certain limits, but you know, like this person came from you. It shouldn't be certain limits. Like, you know, don't get me wrong. Like, it's certain things you like, whoa, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But like, I know people that's like my friend that I was talking about. So his grandmother passed, right? And he went through like this emotional spiral. His father lives in New York. He lives in Florida. What he did was his father came down there with him, and he's like in a 1-bedroom apartment. They slept in the same bed. His father was there for him. You know what I'm saying? Like, could you imagine sleeping in the same bed with your pops under like not the most dire circumstances? Like,
yeah, I mean, but my thing is, shit. To be honest with you, bro, you know what I'm saying? Pause as hell. But I mean, if we go to a hotel or some shit, or whatever it is, and it's only one bed, motherfucker head to feet. Shit, I just slept. To be honest, bro, we grew up in a house where motherfuckers shared beds, like, you know.
Yeah, we had a tight household. We fell asleep. We played video games. We fell asleep in the same room with each other. You know what I'm saying? We was close. You know what I'm saying? And so, I mean, again, it's the more of a stigma towards things.
Yeah, it's
how people view things, and you know, I know like this is the age of internet, so there's a lot of, you know, kind of child molestation and stuff like that that's on there, and so people. You know, but at the same token, that's your son. Right. You know?
Like, nigga, you came from my nutsack, bro.
Like, how much close can you get to a person? Right. You ain't closer to the person that you slept with than you is to your child.
Exactly.
You know?
Like, you were once a part. My thing is you are a piece of me. You are a part of me. Like, you come from me. So my thing is like, if I want to give my son a kiss on the forehead, goddamn it, I'm gonna do it. But you know what I'm saying? And there's nothing wrong with that. I know he gonna be like, come on, Dad, did that. All right, that's cool. But I just want you to know, you know what I'm saying? I love you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want you to know that shit. Like, you are a part of me. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't feel like there's nothing wrong with that shit. Like, but I feel like at the point where a lot of motherfuckers, and now they're getting to that point now once they having kids of their own. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. They giving the love to their kids that they didn't get from their fathers.
And that's the only thing I feel like that's right. That's only right. You don't want to go overboard, but that's only right. My dad wasn't there. I grew up more with your dad around. You know, that was our father. Our granddad was our father figure too.
Shout out to Pappy on this one.
You know, best man I know. Yeah. Period. But you know, we grew up with, you know, then he wasn't really like, he wasn't the hands-on father, you know. So, you know, just, I mean, my son, I get on his nerves. I kiss him. I don't care. I hug him. I kiss him. I show him. He'll never be able to say, my son will never be able to say that I don't know if my dad loves me. My dad never showed me affection. I never knew how my dad felt about me. I get on his nerves. Like, that's my dude you know, and I'd rather get on your nerves and you know how I feel about you than you don't know, you know. Yeah. So I do that, and but I had to, when I first had, when we first had him, I struggled. You know, kids, they don't have privacy and personal space and stuff like that, and I never gave like him, like, you know, that distance, you know, because that kind of, I was raised distant. I was raised a certain way. I was the first child, so my mama had to learn stuff. My pops wasn't there, you know. So I'm a distant person. Now you got a person that don't care that you in the bathroom.
They
don't care you in the shower. Hey, can I hop in the shower? Like, you know, and they won and they trying to climb in the shower, you know, and you like, you know, a whole another person. You can't, you know, like, so it's a whole different thing that you had to learn as being a parent, you know, and you have to kind of grow into that role, step into that moment, and you have to let your kids know what's up, you know.
Yeah.
I'm a big advocate. Anybody that's out there, like, I don't tell people how to think or what to do, but I do want to say, like, if you as a person, you know, you have like these social emotional issues or cues or whatever you want to call them, like, you know, your child is the person to break that barrier with. It ain't no better reason in this world than a child to change, learn bad behavior, or whatever way you can put that, you know, like, there's no other person in this world that you can grow with. Your child will love you unconditionally. That's the person for you to change your bad behavior with, your errors in judgment, your mis upbringings or whatever. Like, that's the person for you to change it with, because that's an issue. And especially in our community, like, we have to learn how to, like, love and appreciate each other. You know, it wasn't until I got about 28 years old. I'm 32. It wasn't until I got about 28 that I really started showing affection to my brothers, my mom. It wasn't until I realized that I could lose my mom that I realized, like, you know, this shit ain't okay. Like, I need to, you know what I'm saying? Like, is my moments going to be appreciated? Is they going to be memorable? Are they going to be, I don't like taking pictures. I don't like hugging. I don't like kissing. I don't like being touched. Like, you know, it wasn't until I realized, like, you know, not only am I getting older and that tomorrow ain't promised, but my mom and my brothers are getting older, and then we live in Chicago. Like, that's that you could be laying down and catch a bullet, you know? So it wasn't until that point came that I realized, like, that learned behavior needed to be completely changed. We needed to grow. We needed to, you know what I'm saying? Like, I needed to evolve. And so at that point, like, you know, that's when I felt like, yeah, you know, okay, you know, little dude, he need all of this. He need all this affection. He need to know how I feel about him. You know, when I'm not proud, when I'm proud of him, whatever, you know. And so, I just, like I said, I really encourage everybody to take that opportunity to do it with your child, because it ain't nobody bad.
Facts. Big facts.
Okay, I've been quiet a little too long. Shout out to my husband and my brothers, because they have and of course will raise amazing men who hopefully your daughters will be lucky to have. But what I will say is it's actually not just men being brought up with these stigmas. And as sad as it sounds, the whole not being able to cry, don't show emotions, don't have feelings, stop whining, man up, that whole little situation that you're being taught and really having embedded in you, your friends, your brothers, siblings, so on and so forth, that happened to me. So knowing how that felt, being brought up in two separate homes, yes, my mom and father was not together at all, like at all. And my father wanted a boy. So I was actually one of those females that was brought up with that stigma in the alley, being forced to shoot threes through a crate on an electric pole in the alley. Like,
my wife got a jumper.
Thanks, babe. But if I didn't make the shot, if I slipped on one of the rocks in the alley, my dad would not settle for me not going back and trying again, or crying about me scraping a knee or anything like that. I mean, the first 5 years of my life, I played football. It was certain things that was pushed on me by my father that my mom would completely be mortified by if she even knew half of it. And in knowing that men are being tormented by their feelings, they can't have them, they can't show them, they can't grow up and love someone who will accept them for having them. All of that. There's only one word that can solve this worldwide problem: balance. Because at the end of the day, you are still human. Like my brother said, you are still human. You think, you feel, you say, you speak. Everything that goes on in you goes on in another person. It just may have a different perception. So yeah, you crying at a wedding to someone who was brought up with those terrible thoughts that you're not being a man by showing these emotions out in public. Those are the people who grow up and raise people who don't know how to be themselves. Mm-hmm. And when I say stuff like that, it's not to bash anybody. Just like my husband said, you have to let a person be a person. There is no uniqueness without letting them grow into their own person as they are. But if I told you, Ryan, my brother, I love you, and today I want you to walk in my wedding. I want you to give me away. I want you to share in this special moment that no other person can ever make me feel special about other than the man that's waiting at the other end of this aisle with me. And you drop a tear. The judgment of the people around you make you feel less of a special person, even though that moment was specifically for you, from me. I literally look at certain things with my son. Yes, I call him my son, not my stepson, because that's who he is. He is my son, my child, regardless to what goes on after everything is said and done. I look at him and yes, I am the parent that will baby him. We go out on ice cream dates behind dad's back. It happens. But I need him to also know that at the end of the day, when you've done something wrong, when you aren't getting the toy that you asked for, if we are in the store and I say you've had ice cream, there will be no candy today. That's it. There's some sternness to it. There will be no falling out in the middle of the aisle. You will not whine. There will be no crying. But that's not me telling him, man up, get it together, don't show emotions. That's me telling him that life is fair. There is a balance. I gave you something that I felt you deserved, and now you're pushing it.
Act like you got some goddamn sense.
Exactly. There's a big difference between disciplining and completely changing the mind of your children. My father made me feel like if I didn't play sports, if I cried, if I wore purses, if I liked flowers and girly stuff, I was less of his child. Just because he always only really wanted a boy. So those same stigmas can hurt, not just male specifically. There is a toxic environment in telling someone how to literally betray themselves, like how to show the world that I am me. I am Kiko. I am Kiera. I am a wife. I am a daughter. I am a sister. I'm not just my father's female son.
Right.
So, like, I absolutely love everything that you guys said and being brought up from different types of backgrounds, different types of environment. I mean, you guys are out of the same house, but two different fathers, same father figures.
Right.
And yet and still, there's certain things that you guys might disagree on. At the end of the day, if your brother came to you and cried on your shoulders, there would be no judgment.
At all.
And that's the difference between how people are and how people should be.
Yeah, I'm my brother's keeper at the end of the day. Well, thank you. And that's coming from a female perspective. So, all in all, just to wrap up this podcast, the message to my son, my future son, I don't have a son right now, but when I do, hopefully he will hear this and feel every word of this. Nobody but you can determine who you are as a man. No one can take anything from you, from your manhood or from your humanhood, if that's a fucking word, by saying that you're less of something because you don't do something specific. As a man, as a human being, fuck being a man, as a human being, you are to Do right by any and everyone. Never be the fool. Never play the motherfucking fool. But do right by everybody and handle your responsibilities. It's okay to show emotion because we all human at the end of the day. You and women have the same exact emotions. It's okay. As your father, I will let you know that if your feelings are hurt, it's okay to say so. If you're sad, it's okay to be sad. It's okay to say that you're sad. It's okay to talk to somebody about what makes you sad. When you're just human. That's it. At the end of the day. Be you. Be a responsible you. Be a caring you. Be a compassionate you. And don't let anyone that say anything to ever want to change who you are personally. And again, just do right by people and handle your responsibilities. And in my personal opinion, that's what a true man really does. He doesn't care about how many bitches he fucking. He don't care about how many bitches he ain't fucking. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not about the money that's in your wallet. It's not about the job that you have. It's about how you carry yourself and how you stand on your morals and how you are when you are talking to people and how you interact with people. That is what a true man is. Period. And that goes not just for my son, all the sons of the world. That is what a true man is. So, I'd like to thank y'all for listening to the second episode of At My Mama's Table. I know we took a turn from the last episode, but this is what you're going to get.
Serious as hell.
Serious as fuck. You know what I'm saying? This is what you're going to get on At My Mama's Table. I have an opinion about any and everything. So, next week we might be talking about some bullshit. Next week we might be talking about some deep shit. I don't know. I ain't decided yet.
Next week gonna be some bullshit.
It might be. You know what I'm saying? To lighten the mood. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, I appreciate y'all. I fuck with y'all. Keep fucking with me. You can find us on iTunes. You can find us on Spotify. You can find us on Google Play Music. And we just added Stitcher. You know, this is episode number 2. We're going to keep this shit going. I love y'all. Fuck with y'all. Rate this on iTunes or like it or do whatever across all platforms. Follow us on Instagram at real_AMMT. You can use that same @ to find us on Facebook. Go like that page to keep yourself up to date on all things At My Mama's Table. I love y'all. I fuck with y'all. Peace out. Love.